This is a demonstration of the slightly more advanced features of village class attendance. In the previous video, we talked about the navigation, the class complete flags, the editing of the attendance codes for the students on any given day, navigation through the weeks and the classes, etc., unlocking. And we had begun to talk about the details pane. And so I'll go into this student. This is where we would see more information about their absences. So you can see that in this situation, we've got all of the periods that have content in this chosen week with their reason and the comment. Now, of course, we're in hidden name modes for demonstration purposes. So I'm suppressing the comments just in case there's any names in there. But in this window, we're able to actually make some choices based on what's available with respect to the attendance codes that are chosen. So if I want to take this guy and I want to say, okay, it's going to be late, what it's going to do, you can watch this happen. As I hit the late, it's actually going to wipe out the reason and it's going to put in the other reasons. Now, they're actually the same list as it turns out, but it's possible to have codes that are only associated with particular attendance codes. Sorry, reasons that are only associated with particular attendance codes. So that if you choose something, other reason, and then you go to, let's say, a G code, other reason doesn't exist in there. So you would end up getting a blank. The other thing, of course, you can wipe it out. It'll go away. So I'll put this back. Now, another interesting part about that is that you noticed when I deleted it by going blank, it clears that, so it's gone, but when I hit the absence again, it's actually remembering what the last valid reason was for the A code, and it puts it in for us. Now, another thing that we'll talk about here, we can also save the comment in this box as well, so that'll save. One of the things we'll do is I'm going to show you how to add new rows in here, of course, and the effect of that. I'm going to use Friday because Friday is still available behind here. So I'm going to add an absence, and I don't know which row the student is on, but there it is, right there. So it's actually updating. And this must have had a reason of medical without documentation in the history, so it loaded it up. And if I go to L, I think that's also available in that one, so it's going to select it. And I can wipe it out, and you can see that it's changing in the back, in the main window as well. All right. Now, I'll turn off the empty rows. You'll see that we have another class here. In this situation, for some reason, this school has their FSL scheduled into periods. I don't believe they actually take attendance, but they are still scheduled, so they will show up here. There'll be empty rows because they don't take attendance. But this is only showing you from Monday to Friday of this week. And you can always just close this window and go to another week to pull up other records. But I also gave the ability to load up the history. So as I load up the history, it's actually running to the database to get the information, and then it's loading it onto the screen. So here it is. Now, it looks a little different on the history. These are not editable right by default. You can't actually make changes to the attendance code or the reason. And once again, it's sort of a safety thing because I needed to ensure that people aren't just sort of leaning on the keyboard and wiping out data. So I have this icon that actually unlocks it. And then we have the ability of making the changes just like you did on the rows for the current week. Now, one of the things that's going to happen is as the school year wears on, this history button is going to be slower because it's loading considerably more data. And we can simulate it if I hide the history rows, but I show the empty rows, so it's showing these empty rows for the remaining days of the week that didn't have any absences. Now, if I load the future, it's actually loading the rest of the school year, and we're just at the start of October. So it's this long to load it from the database, and you see the scroll bar. Now it's actually done. So whatever that took, maybe 4 or 5 seconds. So you have to be a little bit patient when you want to pull up all of the records of the school year. And once again, in order to edit them, I can mark this student 8 months from now being late by unlocking it, choosing late. Okay, that is it for the advanced features on Village class attendance. Thank you.